I've been in business for over 20 years without focusing on branding. Why should I bother now?
That is incorrect. If you've been in business for 20 years, you've got a brand. Everyone has a brand. You have a brand with your kids.
Yeah.
You have like the child goes to mum or dad for something else. Yeah. That's your brand.
Yeah.
They know. The kids know your brand before you know your brand. Okay, you've got that experience, right? My cat comes to me for certain things that she wouldn't go to my husband for. She knows.
Food or something.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
she knows our brand. She gets it. It's that intuition. It's that feeling that you get.
What actually is a brand?
Yes, that is a good question, actually. A brand is a...
Hello and welcome back to the Property Newbies podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined by Rosalia Lazzara-Tilley. And in today's episode, we're going to be digging deep into branding, the importance of branding, and what you should do for your business. So stick around to the end and watch us as we play an exciting game. So Rosalia, thanks for joining. Excited to have you on today. How are you?
Thank you, Courtney. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to Christmas. It's it's an interesting time of year, being a father of two now. So
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You're building a lovely, lovely family. Really lovely.
No, that means a lot. Thank you. But yeah, so what are you up to at the moment?
So, very, very busy. Finishing off 2023 on a high. This year was a big one for me. Was big in investment. Was big in personal development, was big in expansion of the business. I'm 3 years in now with Manuka Media, and I just wanted something remarkable for this year. I wanted something to remember this year by. And so, the biggest thing for me this year has been the book. So I launched the book in September, so I've been working on that all year. And so, as we get to the end of the year, now the book has launched. I'm getting reviews now, I'm getting people feeding back. The buzz is still going. So that's what I'm up to at the moment. Just kind of making sure that everyone is getting the most out of the book, really putting it into action and making plans for 2024. Now I've scared myself because, like when you've hit something big, you're like, I've got to top this next year. Like it's got to be bigger and better. Like, what am I going to do? And, you've got to be careful with that because it's like how much bigger, like how, every year can't be a colossal year. Like it can't be, but it can be at the same time. I don't want to, just in case Grant Cardone watches this podcast, because obviously your podcast is so popular, but just in case he does come across it and he's like, Ros, 10x it. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, what are we going to do? So that's where my head's at the moment, Courtney. I'm just a bit like, I'm happy with everything that's been going on, but I'm like, what do I do in 2024? How can I make myself even more proud,
No, amazing. So we're going to talk a lot today about branding and topics around that. But before we get into things, a question I'd like to ask all the guests that are coming on this is just to tell me a bit about yourself, something interesting or quirky, or maybe something that someone wouldn't know about you.
Oh, well, do you know what? Someone wouldn't know about me, or something they wouldn't know about me is hard because I post everything on social media. And okay, it's not like private stuff, but it's still personable. So I feel like I wear my heart on my sleeve and I do show everything, like the ups and downs about myself. So I don't know if I've got any hidden secrets or anything in the closet that hasn't been put out there. But if you don't know who I am, just in case you're coming across me for the first time, a quick summary, the best way to explain it would be, as you said, Rosalia Lazzara-Tilley. I'm the founder and CEO of Manuka Media. I'm a #1 best-selling author. I'm a podcast host myself. So I host a podcast called The Money Honey, which is about championing women in property, finance, and construction. I also do a lot of work in schools. So again, that's something that I talk about a lot on social media, about passing on my knowledge and my wisdom and my experience to the next generation. So I talk to schools about financial education, because when do we learn about money? Again, you and I are in the property game, right? And in the financial world. So we're getting to understand that now. We're learning about it now. But I want to bring that into schools a lot earlier, about that journey and about business. That's me in a nutshell. I'm a cat mum. Got a little cat furry baby. That's my little baby. Married. And then vino and pizza is my great night out. So that's it. That's I'm not that interesting. I'm just really, really just normal.
No, amazing. Speaking of interesting, then, so finance isn't the most exciting topic, is it? Let's be real. What are you doing to change that?
Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, most people think, yeah, finance boring. Accountant. I'm married one. I'm married an accountant, right? But money's sexy, right?
It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And other than your health and the loved ones in your family, what else is more important? It's money. That's what's going to give you access to better health.
Yeah.
It's money. That's what's going to give you access to lifestyle and flexibility and freedom. So when I found myself accidentally in the financial world, which was a total accident, by the way, I was like, hold on a minute. I've got access here to the elite advisors, to the best of the best, because I've met a lot. So I know how to filter through and find the best of the best. And I thought, but even my mum didn't have access to someone who could give her solid advice on her estate. My grandmother and my granddad didn't have the best advice on their will. So I was like, hold on, even my own family don't have access to the best people of the industry. And so I started making those connections with, my family, with my friends, people wanting to buy a home. And I thought, right, I've got access to, it's like someone had access, invented a cure for a disease and they had hold of it. Wouldn't you share it? Wouldn't you promote it? Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel. I feel like because I landed in this industry by accident, I feel like advisors and mortgage brokers are playing it small. They shouldn't be playing small because actually they're withholding their knowledge and their power from other people that should have access to it. So that's why I do what I do, because I want to bring them to the forefront, put a spotlight on them to say, like, these are the kind of people you should have on speed dial, you should have in your phone book. You should be able to, like, if you've got a question about your tax bill, who'd you call? Like, do you have someone in your top 10 that you can call immediately? If you don't, you are not going to get that tax question answered.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I make it sexy by saying, look, this is part of your well-being. This is part of your well-being pillars or your wheel of life. If you take care of your health, your relationships and your finances, you can sleep easy at night, right?
Yeah. You've touched on a lot of things there that resonate a lot with me. So, talk about networking and things like that. Your network, should I say? In terms of your background, though, so you touched a bit. You said you fell into this by accident. What's your background? Talk to us about your background. How did you get started? What was you doing? And how did you actually fall into this?
Yeah, no, good question. Well, background is like, I don't know how far to go back.
How far back we go?
Yeah, how do we go? I was born in Sicily, which I was, but no, background is in languages, actually totally different to everything that I'm doing today.
As in teaching languages?
Well, I learned a lot of languages.
Okay. What languages?
So Italian, Spanish, English, and German. So
Wow.
English is actually my second language. Italian is my first.
Yeah.
So when I realised that I had a knack for learning languages, what I really realised is that I just have a knack for talking. And I just, it's not that much of a skill. It's just, I know how to talk. And then I was like, wow, I could talk in lots of different languages. And that was my passion. It was just, how can I put this? Like, basically improving my communication skills. And I love talking to loads of people. So learning a different language and being able to communicate with someone more easily and putting them at ease was just something I really enjoyed. Then that got me into teaching and translating. So one of my first ever businesses as an adult, let's say, because obviously I dabbled in things when I was a child, we all did. But you just, your biggest client was your mum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was
Yeah.
We've all been there, right?
Biggest critic as well sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. But so as an adult, my first business was in language teaching. So outside of my 9 to 5, which was in like sponsorship, sales, events, I did recruitment, I've done all sorts, but I always had a side hustle. And that was my first, which was teaching Spanish and Italian to GCSE and A-level students to get their grades up.
Yeah.
Happy to say they did get their grades up. People were going from C's to B's, people going from B's to A's. So I was able to do that. So yeah, that's background. And then I fell into financial services because, long story short, I was in a contract job, lost that job. The contract came to an end. A recruitment agency said, you know what, Roz, you're in the people business. You understand people, you understand business development. Why don't you go and check out this company? It was local to me. And I was like, mortgages, bridging. It was like bridging loans. I was like, I don't even have my own mortgage, let alone a bridging loan. How am I supposed to sell bridging or development finance or And I thought, okay, well, I have a background in recruitment construction, so I understand like the construction and property industry.
Yeah.
How can I apply that to finance? And yeah, quickly learn it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was very, very passionate about solutions
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
And that was it. And that's how
Yeah.
I fell into financial services.
Amazing, amazing. You joke about the speaking bit though, but did you actually know that apparently I don't know how true this is actually, but public speaking is one of the highest paid jobs pound for pound in the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, very, very high paid job, and I do get paid for speaking now. Like it is part of my income stream.
yeah,
So some gigs, I do actually get paid for them, but I didn't get in it for the money. I just, that child in school, everyone's like, "Oh, Ros will do the presentation, no worries."
yeah.
But what's impressive, if I may say so myself, I'm not just like, it sounds like I'm tapping myself on the back, on the shoulder, but
Oh, you go for it.
no, but what I mean is like, I went from not speaking English, right? So this is my upbringing in school was I was lowest of the class. I had to copy everyone else because I couldn't understand instructions in English.
Yeah.
So I was always behind because I was like, what's everyone else doing? So I
Where
would
was you schooled then? In the UK? Or?
yeah. So
Okay.
I was about 8 years old. So when you come to a school brand new at the age of 8, you already have a personality. So
Yeah.
I was like top of my school back home, as in, I was always like really outgoing, like this sassy Sicilian,
Yeah.
young child. And I was really outgoing. I was part of like, the school plays. I would always participate. So I was always quite vocal already. And then when I came to England, that actually was stripped of me, but not on purpose. Like I'm not going to blame my parents and things like that. It's like that just naturally affected my confidence because I couldn't express myself and I
Yeah.
couldn't talk. And I think that feeling of being stripped of your voice and not having a voice allowed me to then obviously go on to learn so many languages that I could not be stopped, right?
Yeah.
And I
You
still,
made up
do
for
you
it
know
then,
what I mean?
didn't
I
you?
made up for it. Yeah, I was like, no, and I think subconsciously that's what happened. But yeah, so that's what I was trying to say is I went from bottom of the class, I couldn't even understand the language, to then being nominated all the time for like, oh no, if Ros is in our group, she has to be the one that speaks. No, Ros, you do the presentation. No, Ros, you tell the teacher. Like I was always like the spokesperson for the people
Yeah.
and for myself.
And did you embrace that?
Oh gosh, yeah. Like I did. I really did because I felt like what other option is there? Like if people put their trust in me, it was almost like I can't let them down. I was like, I've got to step up. But it wasn't always like that easy because for example, there was I love telling this story about my own imposter syndrome moment when
Yeah.
I can physically remember. I didn't know it was called that, but I was at school and I found my confidence and I was like, right, the Christmas play is coming up. Right, I'm Italian. Christmas play, Catholic, nativity play, Jesus. I was like, I
Yeah.
got this. I was like, I'm going to apply for Mary.
Yeah.
Like no other person knows this play better than I do because again, going back to Italy, I came from a Catholic country that was ingrained in us. So I knew like this was this is where I could shine.
Yeah.
Guess what role I was given, Courtney? I applied for Mary. Guess what role I was given?
Don't tell me.
Sheep.
I was gonna say sheep. I was
Yeah.
actually gonna say sheep.
Yeah. How dare you? What a confidence knock that
Yeah.
was. Like for me, I was like, what do you mean? I just applied for Mary.
Yeah.
I know all her lines and I get given the sheep. So again, that other kind of lesson that I learned very, very early on is that communication, that stepping into get what you want, and apply for it anyway. You might not get it, but apply for it. And then, I got the sheep. I did the sheep role very, very well, I have to say. I absolutely smashed it. But yeah, now I'm not so much of a sheep anymore, am I? So,
I
yeah.
think we always have to come on a journey, don't we, of improvement. If we look at where we were 20 years ago, we're probably all different to what we are now. And it's growth. It's really, it is growth, which we'll come on to that a bit later as well. But the main topic today is obviously we're talking about branding. So you're known in the industry as kind of a bit of a branding expert, guru. I know some people don't like the term expert or guru, but let's just say you know what you're talking about when it comes to branding. So I'm interested to learn a lot today myself. We've had some good questions put forward by some of our users as well on Instagram. But I suppose the most common question, which sounds a bit ironic, but which came up was, what actually is a brand?
Yes, that is a good question, actually. I know it sounds simple, but it is one of the most common questions. Like, what is a brand? A brand is a feeling, an experience. It's what people would say about you if you weren't in the room.
Hmm.
It's what people can relate to you and link back to you. What experience do they have or what perception? So it's not your colors, your logo, your website and your font, right? That's the I see that as the decoration.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that later, but that's the decoration of your brand. Your brand really, you can have no logo, no website, no color palette, and you still have a brand.
Hmm.
And it's because it's the perception and experience accumulatively that people have of you and what they get, what feeling sensation they get from being around you and what you offer.
Yeah.
That's what to me a brand is.
Okay. I like the part you said there. It's about what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. We've got those people. Obviously, there'll be people that cheer you on
Yeah.
and there'll be people that don't.
Yeah. The haters, right?
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
there are going to be those,
Yeah.
but I think let them dig their own hole,
Yeah.
like don't let that tarnish who you are. What you can't control what other people say. So if you've just heard my statement of, a brand is what other people say of you, you might feel a lack of control. You might feel a sense of overwhelm there because you might be thinking, oh gosh, so now I've got to really please people. That's
Yeah.
not what we're talking about. You're not
Yeah.
trying to make everybody like you. That's not your brand.
Yeah.
And there'll always be people that gravitate towards you because they like you, or what you stand for. And there'll be people that don't necessarily gel with you. Like they don't see themselves like having a cocktail with you,
Yeah.
but they respect you,
Hmm.
So you've got those people that you're like, I don't neither like them or hate them, but I appreciate what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I've got some people like that in my life, but needless to say, the only way to control that is to build a network of people that protect your name
Yeah.
when you're not in that room.
Yes. So networking as well then. So we obviously met at a networking event. So,
Yes.
I can attest to the power of networking and certainly what it's done to what I'd say my brand over the last 12 months. What would you say, or, what's the importance of networking when it comes to building a brand or maintaining a brand, establishing a brand, you name it?
Wow.
How important is it?
I mean, you talk about networking. Can I just say for the record, our networking was dancing on the dance floor.
It was.
That's how
It
we
was.
networked.
Yeah.
That's how we met. We didn't
Yeah.
exchange a business card. We
I don't
didn't.
even have a business card.
I don't even have one either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a digital one where you tap on the phone and it never works.
Yeah.
I look all cool. Everyone's like, "Oh, cool, let's see that," and it never works. Never mind. But yeah, I don't have a business card, and that's the new way of networking.
Yeah.
Right? It sounds crazy, but it's like don't print business cards. Go out and meet people and connect
dance,
on a
right?
vibe. Dance, yeah, dance. So yeah, that's how we met. And networking today, there's digital networking,
Yep.
and then there's in-person networking.
Yep.
Now, you and I technically were connected digitally first,
Yeah.
and then we met face to face, and then we continued our networking online. We tagged each other in our reels. We,
Yes.
we saw each other's pictures. We follow each other's content. We engage with it. That's where the real networking is happening. The
Yes.
introduction or the connection might have been made face to face on the dance floor, but really where we got to know each other was just through consuming each other's content.
Yeah.
That's the new era of networking.
Yes.
Not sitting in a room with your pads out. Everyone's looking at their laptop anyway. Then you've got a 60-second speaker,
Yeah.
someone just doing their elevator pitch, and then you're like, brilliant, should we have a one-to-one? I just don't do that kind of networking anymore. I will not be present at those events.
Yes.
For me, it's just about good vibes, good times, and really getting to know a person without like the hassle of saying like, let's have a one-to-one. How can I bring value to your network and your business? If it's just being a guest on your podcast, wonderful. That's wonderful. If my audience can tap into what you do through this,
Yes.
that's my job done.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Just circle back onto the point about what people say about you when you're not in the room. What would people say about you when you're not in the room? You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
Oh my gosh. What would they say about me? She wears yellow.
Yeah.
I always hear people saying, even to my face, or people like then report back, just energy. I don't know what that means, but like a lot of people say like, oh, she's got such great energy, and I don't think that means like, yeah, I am loud and bubbly, and I'm obviously dancing, so that's where the energy comes from. But just an atmosphere. Like, I don't know, just an. I don't want to go too woo woo, but maybe it's just an aura. I think that's what people pick up on first.
Yeah.
Um.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, I
Yeah.
speak to people that know you. We got
Yeah.
obviously got mutual connections, and
Yeah.
I've said the same thing. I said, "Oh, the energy she brings, always a good vibe when we're out." So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's what they would say. And then actually, I think one of the comments that I know I get, but I might struggle to accept it sometimes, is, but I do like it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a conflicting one. But basically, I'm very direct.
Yeah.
I'm very transparent, and and that is part of my brand. I use that as like that's who I am. I'm not going to change that. But I think maybe could it be that maybe sometimes people find it intimidating? I think I can be intimidating, but in a like I walk into a room and I have, that energy that you feel.
Yep.
Someone else sees it as like intimidating.
Yeah, or overpowering.
Overpowering.
Yeah.
But that's not my responsibility. I then coach myself into thinking, right, well, you might have great self-esteem, which is why you bounce off me and you have a great vibe. But if I am confident, I am not being confident to make you look small.
Yeah.
And that's just on you, how you
It's not
react to my energy. It's not, is it?
Yeah, I agree.
But I know I get those comments. I know that I'll probably get comments like, who does she think she is, sort of thing, like coming into the room wearing yellow. Like, she really wants to stick out, doesn't she? But I'm like, but why should I play small?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make myself smaller just so you can be more comfortable. So I know that is also what people would say in a room, I think, anyway.
And you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
And
yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, absolutely. So why yellow? I have interest.
Yeah, so I get that a question a lot. Honestly, I always talk about branding isn't just about your colours. It really isn't. But for me, obviously it is, because people keep going back to the yellow.
Yeah.
And so just in case anyone's listening, they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't got a colour. Like, what's my colour? It really isn't about the colour. The reason why the yellow stuck is because of how it makes sense with the whole niche and the whole category that I'm in. So I'm in a financial world.
Yeah.
Which automatically your brain starts thinking grey, blue,
just
black and white.
dull,
right?
Right?
Quite muted, right?
Yeah.
Quite muted tones. And then you've got some of these challenger banks that have started to come out. Obviously, it's been a while now, but I worked for one. So it was purple, right? And then there's a pink one, and then there is one yellow one. But there are some challenger banks that they broke out into the market with a palette that was different to the standard, like blue, black, red. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm assuming that was intentional as well, wasn't it?
Of course, that was their strategy. It was like, we're different, so you have to look different.
Yeah.
So when I decided to step out and start my own business, I knew I didn't want to be blue, etc. So I had a photo shoot. And I had a blue dress, I had a yellow dress, and I had different color dresses. And then I put out a post on LinkedIn. And I said to everyone, hi, I've got, new photos done. Can you vote, please, which one you think your favorite is? And on LinkedIn, most people voted the one where I literally look like, not that there's anything wrong with this, but I look like a lawyer or like a solicitor. I had like this blue dress with like a really like dark background.
It's very corporate.
Really corporate. Like I look like I worked for one of the big four, right?
Yeah.
Everyone voted for that. And I just looked at that vote and said, what is the extreme opposite to that photo? I'll go for that. And the extreme opposite was this one shoulder yellow dress that I had. So my shoulder was hanging out. So it wouldn't have been very corporate and I went for that. And then people were like, why do you have to put your shoulder out? Like, why do you have to? And I'm like, is my shoulder offensive or something? Like, so I went for something that I knew was the opposite to what people were expecting of me. And that was
the masses and do the opposite, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the masses said blue, corporate, very sophisticated, like very corporate look. I went yellow, just the opposite. And that was and then it stuck. And then people were saying, what did they say? Like the spark of yellow this industry needed.
Yes.
But it made sense. Like yellow made sense for finance because it was about bringing a buzz, about bringing energy. Yellow is energy. Yellow is energetic. Yellow is enthusiastic. It's positive, and that kind of describes all of my kind of attributes. Traits. So yellow.
Okay. Interesting story. And so how does that tie in with the name Manuka then? So for me, that's
Nice.
Is there a honey reference there? Yellow?
Yes, the money honey. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my alter ego, the money honey. I didn't want to be a queen bee, but I knew I wanted a buzzing business. So when I kept thinking of buzzing, energy, community, I thought of bees because bees don't stop working.
Yeah.
All right, they're always working. Sometimes the seasons are great, sometimes they're not, but they're still making that
working.
honey, you
Yeah.
know, they're still, you know, they don't just sit at home like, oh, do you know what, I'll go out when I see a few more flowers.
Yeah, I'll wait till summer.
Yeah, exactly. They will go out relentlessly. And they work solo. So they work on their own, but they also then come back as a community and make the honey together.
Yeah.
So you will see a bee often on its own, just buzzing away, collecting the pollen. And that's how I felt. I was like, look, I'm one of me, and this is what I can bring to the industry. This is how I can make an impact. But collectively, together, everybody, we can produce that honey.
Yeah.
And so that's where the Manuka, obviously, if you're going to buy honey, Manuka honey is the best of the best.
Yep.
So we built a very elite brand. We wanted a very high-end brand, not like, hey, we'll just do you a few Canva photos and you can go on social media. It's a bit more about strategy and so it's high-end, so Manuka. Yeah, that made sense for me.
Okay. All right. I've got a few questions that we'll put in from the listeners then. So I want to read some of them out.
Thank you, everyone, for asking questions.
So the most common one was obviously around, you know, what is a brand? But we had some interesting ones on here, and I hope you don't mind me asking some of these and putting you on the spot.
Let's go for it.
This one was quite funny to me. So, I've been in business for over 20 years without focusing on branding. Why should I bother now?
That is incorrect. If you've been in business for 20 years, you've got a brand.
That's exactly what I
You've
thought.
definitely got a brand.
Yeah.
I don't know, again, if he were here, thank you for the question, but I'd be saying, you know, what do you do? How do you do it? So I'd have to try and discover what the brand is, because some people have the brand. Everyone has a brand. You have a brand with your kids.
Yeah.
You have like the child goes to mum or dad for something else. Yeah. That's your brand.
Yeah.
They know. The kids know your brand before you know your brand. Okay. You've got that experience. Right. My cat comes to me for certain things that she wouldn't go to my husband for. She knows.
Food or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She knows our brand. She gets it. It's that intuition. It's that feeling that you get, hence going back to them. So you absolutely do have a brand. My fear is that after 20 years in business, you don't know what your brand is.
Yeah.
So I'd be going for a brand audit. So the people I work with are all successful before they found me.
Yeah.
I don't claim to make you successful. You're already successful. We work with successful businesses, but we help you understand what you actually do.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd be saying to this person, you absolutely do have a brand. Ask your clients, what do they say about you? What do they think of you? Think about how you pride yourself. What do you deliver your service on? How do you put yourself out there? So if he thinks I don't have a brand because he doesn't have a logo or a website or anything like that, that's fine. I made money before I even had all that stuff. Actually, I made a business when I had a rubbish logo because I wasn't proud of it. But that people weren't buying into my logo or the palette that I designed. They bought into me. So yeah, you have a brand. You just need to discover it. Yeah, definitely.
It's interesting as well. I remember seeing something a while ago. People always associate a brand with something being high end or expensive. So, and I think the example was, you know, to me, I don't buy brands. I shop in Primark. But then someone actually said, well, Primark is a brand. It's just a lower end brand. It's still a brand. A brand doesn't mean something that's high in value or expensive or designer, for example.
Exactly. I think maybe people think that brand is designer.
Yeah. Yes.
And that brand is a company, but brand is also people. But we'll get into that, I'm sure, about people and business. But
like you said, the feeling as well.
The feeling, Yeah.
If you're buying lower end.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word lower end clothing. Just not high end.
I think it's called a high street or more commercial kind of brands. Yeah. Fast. I think it's called fast fashion. There we are. Yeah. That's the terminology for it. It's not catwalk, high end fashion. It's fast fashion.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the fast food of fashion, right?
Yes, exactly. And some people, touching on brand about this, some people won't buy from places like Primark because it doesn't align with their values of overconsumption of clothes and mass production. So they do, even though they might not be able to afford Gucci, they still try and shop maybe at hand clothes or vintage because they align more with recycling and upcycling. So again, that's your brand values. So if it doesn't align with Primark, a top could be £5, but if that does not align with like the bigger picture of your vision of the world, you're not going to buy from there.
Yeah. You touched on values there. I had a question around values as well. So in the corporate world, people always talk about, company values, and sometimes it's just words on a piece of paper or it's words on a screen. What is company values? What is brand values, and how can you sort of live and stand by your brand values?
Oh, that is such a great question. So what are they and how do you live by them? I'll break it down. So it does start with just putting some words on a piece of paper, to be fair. Like there is no other, that's how you start. Like I just plucked some words out like not honey, sorry, community. And buzz and energy, and then I got to the honey, right? So it does start that way. How you then live by them, I have my own motto, and our company value is how you do everything is how you do anything. No, sorry. So that again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you are, let's say, for example, you talk about high-end properties, right? And you're talking about how to decorate high-end properties and how to make your living space very, very luxurious, but you live in a shed, right? I'm just using that really big, like, comparison. And you don't dress to impress, and you don't groom yourself, and you don't take care of yourself, but you're trying to promote a luxury high-end brand. I'd be like, okay, you know which luxury shops to shop in, but you don't embody the brand. You are not the brand. So that's the best analogy I can use to say, look, I don't expect you to be dressed from head to toe in designer gear, but if you are high end and promoting luxury feeling, how are you bringing the luxury feeling? How do you bring it when you present yourself, right? So if I said, for example, our company is all about energy and enthusiasm and being different, we think differently, right? We make you stand out. And then I deliver a bog standard Canva template that I've copied and pasted a million times. You'd be like, Ros, that doesn't quite align with what you say. You're not actually doing the do. So that's a motto that I live by, which is how you do anything is how you do everything.
Okay. Love that. Next question. Probably the most asked question you may have got in the past. It's a question I've asked many times. Personal branding versus company branding. Which is best, if that is even a thing, and what should you be doing?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Personal versus business. Everybody asks that question. Okay. So if you are, firstly, my quick answer is personal branding all the way.
Let's break it down. What is a personal brand, and then what's a company brand? So let's focus on personal branding first. What it is, why you should be doing it.
Usually, yes. Okay. So a personal brand versus a business brand. Let's go with business first. A business brand is typically a product. Right? So they're selling a microphone. So the microphones we're using right now, we don't know who the founder is, or we don't have to deal with the founder of that microphone. We just know that these microphones are good. So the brand is about the excellence and the reliability of this product. So that's what they stand by. The personal brand is more relevant for service-based businesses. In my opinion. So if you are in the business of people and you are providing a service, and you're not just selling a product off the shelf, or, in a shop or online, then it's the people element that people will buy into. So we always say people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Especially if you're in a space that's competitive, where another service provider is offering the same thing as you, what's going to stand you apart? What's going to help you deliver your service better than them, or help your service stand out more than the other person? Usually it's relationships. And that's what the personal brand allows you to do. Now, I am going to also backtrack and say, think of some of the biggest names out there, and then think of the face that they associate that big brand to. Can I play a game with you? Okay. It's really easy. Easy. Right. Think of this.
Okay.
Who is the face of Just Eat?
Snoop Dogg.
Right.
Yeah.
Personal brand.
Yeah.
So Snoop Dogg, Just Eat has also hired Katy Perry and Snoop Dogg to sing their jingle.
Yep.
When they had a perfectly good jingle without them. Why? Because Katy Perry and Snoop Dogg have followers. They have fans.
Yeah.
They have people who like them. And the food at Just Eat doesn't taste any better or doesn't get delivered any faster just because Snoop Dogg and Katy Perry do it. But because we trust them too, and we like them and we are drawn to people that we like, Just Eat gets a name in the press because of them. So let's play another one. Who is the face of a perfume called Dior? Dior brand. Who can you think of that advert? Maybe that's a bit of a
Christian Dior one.
Yeah, for men. Do you know who it is?
That the model, the guy, the chiseled beard.
Yeah, and he's an actor as well.
Yeah, I know who he is. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Oh, sorry, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
No,
sorry, it's okay. It's an obscure
there's
one.
another one as well. I forgot.
David Gandy.
That's the one. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes.
Johnny Depp's more recent.
He's more recent. You're right. Yeah. So these big names, these big brands, the footballers are wearing the logos. These big brands have built a business brand, but they are craving the personal brand.
Yeah.
They are paying for a personal brand to advertise their business brand because even a product, people buy from people.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So personal brand isn't necessarily the person who's involved in that business then, because these are obviously famous people, influencers, whatever you want to call it. So it's not actually someone who has to be associated with a company, like a founder, a co-founder, or a director, or someone like that.
Exactly.
It's just a person.
Exactly. And I think this is why it's so important that you do need to build your personal brand, because you can diversify, you can build multiple income streams, you can actually end up having your finger in lots of pies that aren't even your own pies, that you're just asked to represent. So I like to call that as brand ambassador. So a personal brand is also like a brand ambassador. So for example, because of my personal brand and the industry I'm in, here's when earlier we were saying in the podcast about money being sexy. Here's a sexy job that I was given. One of the milestones that I achieved that I was like, I can't believe, I got asked to do this gig, which was there's a brand out there called Female Invest, and they are a financial education platform for women all over the world to educate women on financial well-being, clarity, education. They asked me to record a video course. So they wanted me to be the face and the voice of this video that then the course was about getting on the property ladder, how to get on there, and understanding mortgages. Yeah. This video course was sent to all their subscribers in now 100 countries around the world. That's the power of a personal brand that they found me on LinkedIn. Yeah. They saw what kind of speaker I was, they saw the industry I was in, and they wanted me to represent that module and speak for that module. So now my face and voice is empowering, I hope, empowering women all over the world, and they don't even know who I am. But through that course, I've been able to make an impact. Again, part of like my bee vibe, right? I feel like that honey is being produced over there, just from that little bit of pollen that I collected, that and contributed to the hive. Yeah. That is the power that can happen. Yeah. So personal branding all the way.
Okay. And just as a follow-on to that then as well, though, so for people just starting out in their business, we're obviously talking about property, but anyone in business in general, but let's say it is property related, how should they start building their personal brand? What's the best tips you should give them to start in their personal brand?
Okay, so it's not like you start building it, it's you already have one.
Okay.
So I don't teach you to build one from scratch. You already have it. So I help you release that from, you've already got it in you. You've already got it. You're not broken. I don't need to fix you. You don't need any, you don't need to be given a brand in a box and then you I'll use this brand, shall I? You already have one.
Yeah.
You already have what you have. So it's about understanding yourself so deeply to such a level that you know where your strengths and weaknesses lie, what your USP is, so look at yourself like a business. Look at yourself like what, over the years, if you have been working in employed roles all your life, how did you do what you did? Mm-hmm. How did you deliver? where did you stand out? What were your what perks did you have from that job? And how, just look at yourself like a company. Just think yourself like Rosalia Lazzara Limited, like that's the company. What does that represent? What do I stand for? What are my values? So you start to unpack things that you've already done. So that's your brand. Is, you know, what qualifications do you have? What
Yeah.
experiences? What personal traits do you have? What's your network? What does that look like? So
Yeah.
even when I was starting out Manuka Media, everyone's like, oh, why did you choose to niche down in financial services and property? I was like, but because that's the network I've got. You know, there's no point me saying pharmaceuticals, where are you?
Yeah.
You know, that would be crazy. I wouldn't be able to be authentic with that, because I'd be like, I don't understand your world. I can't really say I'm the expert for branding in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So yeah, go with what you know, start there. I'd say personal branding also starts with niching down. So definitely have a niche. Doesn't have to be an industry niche. It could be an expert niche. So something you're really, really, really good at. Start there, because if you're going to try and appeal to everybody, you're going to get lost in the white noise. So really go with where you're most confident.
Okay. Okay. You kind of answered another question there, which is quite interesting. I'll read it out just for the purpose of this. But someone said, "How do I build a personal brand if I lack charisma and likability?" And I think you've kind of answered some of that there as well. I don't know if you want to expand on that, or...
Firstly, I feel bad for whoever asked that question. If you feel like you lack charisma and likability, you know, oh, I feel really bad. That question feels really personal.
It does. It does.
And I feel bad for them. Like, if that's your opinion of yourself,
Yeah.
there some work needs to be done there.
Yeah.
Right.
The
It's
likability part
subjective.
for me
It's subjective.
yeah, the likability part of that's the sad part there. But
Yeah, it's
the
that.
charisma part, I mean, not everyone has to be charismatic. I mean, I was thinking about this, Jack D, the comedian.
Okay, yes.
He's not the most charismatic person, is he? But he's very much liked. He's still funny. He's a comedian.
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't really strike you as the most charismatic person.
And do you know what? Charismatic and confident. So again, that's that word that I get that a lot, where people are like, oh, I'm not that outgoing, or I'm not that confident. And I'm like, can we just clarify what confidence and charisma means? Because not all confidence is loud. Not all confidence is bold and brash.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can have your own version of charisma, like this comedian, or you can have your own version of confidence. But whatever you're doing at the moment, if you have already, again, I don't know who this person is asking the question, but let's say you already have a few clients. Okay. If you've even got one client, that's your proof of concept there. Like, if one person will buy from you, then another one will, and then 10 will, and then 100 will. But you need to find your tribe. You need to find the people that do click with you and do. So yeah, don't expect to go viral overnight and expect that everyone will like you. But neither does everyone like me. You know, like, not everyone is going to buy into my brand. So I think some self-confidence work needs to be done there.
Yep.
And finding proof, you know, self-confidence isn't just built just by getting a coach. He's like, believe in yourself. I hate that kind of stuff, right? Confidence can be built with evidence. I like evidence. Be like, right, find proof and evidence where you can start to rebuild that belief in yourself and anchor yourself around that, and then find what works and then repeat it.
Yeah.
Who does like you? What tribe is your tribe? And go there. Ignore everyone else.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Stop following everyone else's tribe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is a good question, I think, especially with your background working in businesses as well. How can businesses encourage employees to be brand advocates, both online and offline? That's a very good question. As I read it out loud. Yeah.
So, how can businesses encourage their employees to be brand advocates? Okay.
Both online and offline. I think that's
online.
The important.
That's really so. Okay, I know where this comes from, because obviously my first question would be to the founder, whoever asked this question, and the owner. What are you doing to be your own brand ambassador?
Yeah.
Once a leader, you have to be a leader, right? If you are leading the team, are you out there on social media? Are you visible? Are you networking? Are you leading by example and showing everyone else how it's done? Because if you can't even bring yourself to do videos on social media, how can you expect your team to do it? Now, you might have one confident person in the team that's like, yeah, go on, I'll do it. But really, when you go to bed at night, it's your business, it's your company, you're the brand ambassador. It starts with you. Yeah. So firstly, my first action from that question would be, what are you doing? So have a self audit, think about how you're being a brand ambassador. Secondly is, what is there to scream and shout about?
Yeah.
Right, naturally create an environment that is worth shouting about, that is worth talking about. What are you doing with your team? Okay, no one's going to say back at work at 9 a.m. because the boss is going to be really angry if I'm late, or stay in work late because, you know, they calculate my time.
Yeah.
Yay, Instagram selfie. Like, no one's going to post about that. No one's going to post about a lifestyle that they don't aspire to. And putting a pool table in your office isn't going to make, do you know what I mean? Like, really? Yeah. Like, just because you've got ping pong tables and things like that and beer in the fridge,
Free
that's
fruit bowls and
yeah.
beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's not cool anymore, you know. Today's society, today's generation want, you know, flexibility.
Yep.
You know, that working from home is a big thing.
Yes.
That autonomy, that learning, that again, brand values. They want to know, like, what are we actually working towards? What is the mission for this business, right? So you've got to have something to scream and shout about. Otherwise, there is nothing to really advocate for. They're just in a job.
Yes.
They literally just want a paycheck at the end of the month.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, love that. I'll pick a couple of more because there are some good ones on here. You spoke, question for me actually, you spoke a lot about social media earlier, so this is a bit of a variation of my question, but what role does social media play in shaping a brand's identity? That's a good question.
That is good.
That wasn't mine.
So that's okay.
You can say it's mine though.
No, okay. So how does social media play a role in the brand identity? How I explain social media to people I work with is, social media is simply the digital stage. It's like a stage where you tell the story. It's not going to make you interesting if you are not interesting.
Yeah.
If you are not doing things offline that is worth posting about online, your online platform is going to be dead. So your brand isn't how you decorate your Instagram profile or your LinkedIn profile. It's, you know, a lot of people say, like, how do you find so many things to post about? And I'm like, open up your diary. What's in your diary?
Yeah.
Because if you're not a busy person, if you're not reading, if you're not meditating, if you're not going to the gym, if you're not meeting people, if you're not doing something with your life, there is nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Where are you going to pluck the ideas out of?
Yeah.
Who's going to get? Everyone's like, Ros, I'm stuck for content ideas. I'm like, right, you're either doing nothing,
Yeah.
or you're not you're not listening to your brain. You're not listening to yourself. So your social media profile shapes your brand because it simply tells the story that you already are living.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just a digital way of saying to everyone, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is my vibe.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, no, totally agree. You've got to be doing things in your own life that's worth talking about. I mean, you asked about the calendar. If I was to open up my calendar, it's probably going to be booked up until February or March, both through my own activities and what my other half puts in there as well. So, you know, it's looking.
And there's your content there.
Yeah. So, which brings on to the next question. So we talk about digital platforms there. So there's a lot of different social media platforms. You got Instagram, there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn's now starting to change a bit. You know, it's no longer seen as the whole stiff corporate recruitment type platform. YouTube, all these different social media platforms. It's going to be a bit of a loaded question. Which, if there is, which is the best ones to use? But if there isn't the best one to use, what should you be using each one for?
Okay, yeah. So there isn't a best social media platform for everybody. It depends on who your ideal customer is, or who you're trying to engage with.
Yeah.
So if you are a B2B business and you want, like, CEOs, MDs, and it's a business, I'd say LinkedIn is where you're going to find the most decision makers. However, there's a lot of businesses on Instagram as well. And there's business pages on Facebook. So Facebook business pages are fantastic if they've got a high following, or Facebook groups are great. So let's say, like, for example, 10 years ago, I started subscribing and joining Facebook property groups. Yeah. You know, like HMOs in Essex, or, Property Investor Network and things
Yeah.
like that. So they've been around for years and years and years. So they've got a legacy in their group. They've got hundreds or maybe thousands of subscribers to that group. So you really have to find, again, going back to that word, your tribe, like what network do you need to be associated to, and where do they hang out? Where's the party? Like where you and I met, I found we can say their name, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So Savoy's found me on Instagram.
Yeah.
And again, connections, because I'm connected to people in finance and property, and that's the space that they're in, that's how they were able to find me.
Okay.
So they found me and contacted me on, and literally this is what they said. Malkit, shout out to Malkit. He was like, hey, you seem to have a good vibe. Literally, that's what he said. He was like, you seem to have a good vibe. Why don't you come along to our party? I was like, me? I've got like 100 followers at the time. No, oh my God, tell a lie. At the time, I had like 400 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I always tell this story to my clients to help them see that you don't need to be famous on social media to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, right, I've got 400 followers on Instagram. Okay, I had about 12,000 on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But they found me on
Yeah,
Instagram.
the connection with Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would they want little old me? Because I knew what kind of people were going to this event. I knew like 16,000 followers, 33,000, you know. I was like, what am I doing in this place? And I had this imposter syndrome feeling of like, I'm not worthy to be in this room with the Savoys and these people because I don't have enough followers.
Yes.
Right. But as soon as I came in, Tej, right, let's talk. How did he recognize me? He was like, oh, yellow, because we both had the yellow. And I was like, how does he know me? So I kind of put these people up on a pedestal. I was like, why would they know about me? And that just goes to show that when you found your people, when you found your tribe, you don't need a lot of followers. Like you can, like I get enough business from social media. I've built my entire business based on social media leads alone, just purely by connections, by connecting with the right people. And then when you have a niche, your connections go deep. So like now here we are sitting having a nice chat. You know, I've made so many friends just off the back of that one party. But I don't need to be anywhere else. I just need to be there. Yeah. And then that will open up new doors with other people. So yeah, it's just, what was the question?
Yeah. No, it's interesting you say that because I was literally talking about this the other day as well with some of my other friends who, you know, always asking, oh, coach, you're always networking and going to these events. And I was like, yeah, it's the place to be. And for me, so my first real ever networking event was Savoy's as well last year. And again, you know, shout out to Savoy's, to Sanjay and Malkit. I love what they do because they're big advocates for people who are just starting out or who don't have massive followings, like you were saying, and they're always trying to elevate people to do better. And they have opened up a lot of doors for me in the last 12 months. And just simply attending their events, the connections that I've met, the new friends that I've now met. You know, there are people I generally consider as friends in property now. So
I love that.
And I just can't you can't underestimate the power of networking.
Exactly. So, and I've brought business back to them. I've had people join because of me, because of my network in finance. I've got people joining the Savoy's Club because of my recommendation. Yeah. And so that kind of you know, back and forth is what the magic that happens just purely from being present on social media. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen for you listening. Like, you might already have 10,000 followers. You're like, I'm not getting in these rooms. I'm not getting these opportunities. And it just goes to show it's not about your followers, because you can have a good vibe, a good sense of a person just with 400 followers, but you might have 400,000 and not be the right vibe for that room. Do you know what I mean? Like, you might not fit.
Yeah, I think at the time when I was first invited to one of the Savoy's events, I probably had about 200-300 followers, and it probably wasn't even that geared towards property and what I was doing. It was probably more around my failed football career. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about my failed football career.
I haven't actually.
We'll save that for another time, don't worry. Otherwise we'll get
the
violins
amazing.
But yeah, it was more probably just football content maybe, or just nothing really. You know, I wasn't using social media as a tool for business, which it is.
Yes.
You know, it really
absolutely.
is. So, another thing you spoke about there about the followers and metrics. Let's talk about vanity metrics. This is something that gets spoken about a lot. Yes. People chase the followers. Oh, I need to get X amount of followers and it means I'm doing well. But I know the reality is it isn't. But break it down to me, you know, what...
Oh, gosh, I've got a whole chapter in my book about vanity metrics. Let's
go. We've got the time.
Right. So, okay. Right. So obviously the analogy of the more followers you have, the more people see you, therefore the more chances you've got of getting business. Yes, of course that is valid. You know, the more people walk into your shop, the more chances you've got of selling something that day. But if you get fixated on the numbers of growing that number, you're going to miss the value and impact you can make with the numbers that you already have. If, for example, imagine followers like physical people in a room. If I put you in a room where there are 1 million people, how many are you actually going to talk to by the end of the evening?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. I bet I can just about keep up with my friends. I don't have many friends. I can just about get round to their birthday messages, text them saying happy Christmas, and then also try and see them once a quarter if I can.
Get back to all the unread
WhatsApp messages, the group chats. Oh my gosh, the group chats. I'm like,
chats.
guys, everyone all right? Everyone survived today? Great.
Yeah.
Happy, have a great evening, because I haven't got time to do that. So everyone loves the followers, but actually, are you talking to them?
Yeah.
Are you making an impact with the 200? I bet when you had 200 followers, you knew exactly who every single one of those 200 people were. Or at least 10% of them, right? You make an impact with the people that you already have, and organically you'll start to grow.
Yeah.
Now, there will come a point for some, not everybody's going to have this kind of colossal, result on social media, but there might come a point where you were stuck at 5,000 followers on Instagram for 10 years. And then one day you got featured in the press, you got, invited on TV or something. And then all of a sudden you went to 33,000 followers.
Yeah.
Right. There might come that point where you've got what looks like that overnight success.
Yeah.
However, you do not get to 33,000 followers if you haven't made an impact with your small community first. Because it's them, they're your biggest advocates. The people that know you most intimately are going to be the ones that advocate for you. You know about the people we said about the people in the room that protect your name?
Yeah.
They're the people that are going to do that. If you acquire 33,000 followers overnight for whatever means you've subscribed to, right? Whether you've bought them or, hired a bot or whatever, these people have not bought into you yet. They have just clicked follow, but they do not know your brand yet. So you can have 33,000 followers, and that could be day one where you need to try and convert these people into fans.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between fans and followers. The other thing I would say is that Instagram, social media, and what Gen Z are teaching us at the moment right now, that it is absolutely about small communities now. It's completely turned on its head. It's all about the small communities, the vibe tribe, rather than, this person, 'cause look how quickly people are getting cancelled.
Yeah.
Right? That's another topic there as well. But it is about the smaller communities, about that connection, rather than they're famous, we're just going to follow them.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely focus on, I know you need to grow your following and you need to track your numbers to see if your reels are getting better, or if if your video hooks could be a little bit sharper so that there is better engagement and retention on your videos, all that kind of stuff. Make your photos sharper and more interesting. Don't post like you're under the cupboard and it's dark and you can't even see what you're doing. Be bright and visible, but definitely don't underestimate that one follower that's just followed you. That appreciate. I get so much buzz when I get a new follower. I message them. I'm like, hey, thanks for following. And they're like, Ros, I just listened to this podcast from so-and-so, your guest. Literally changed my whole perspective of. And I'm like, whoa, that is the life change today. That is one life that we've changed today. And the other 10,000 followers that probably saw me and didn't say anything, so what? I'd rather speak to one person and know we've made a difference than 10,000 people just lurking.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'll pick a couple more.
Yeah, let's go for it. Thanks everyone for the questions. They're really
some
good.
ones. All right. Okay. Good one actually, because we're just talking about different social platforms. So, why is maintaining brand consistency across all touch points crucial, and how can it be achieved? Does that make sense?
Yes. Firstly, out of sight, out of mind. So the consistency piece isn't just about playing the algorithm, because that's a whole other, topic. But if you're not consistent, then you're going to be forgotten quite quickly.
Yeah.
And I've certainly noticed that. Again, back to the vanity metrics. If I post something and I get 200 likes, if I don't post for a week, those people aren't going to check in with me saying, how do you feel today, Ros?
Yeah.
Are you okay? They don't, it's entertainment for them. I'm
Yeah.
posting, and that's why I don't care if it's 50 likes, 200 likes, or 15,000 views on a video. For me, I know who my real people are and who
Yeah.
will actually reach out. So the consistency element, the reason I'm constantly posting and putting myself out there is because if I don't, I will be forgotten. And obviously my business will suffer because of that.
Yeah.
Also, what I do is more than just where's the next lead coming from. It's a mission, right?
Yeah.
I'm helping our society get more financially savvy, and the only way I can do that is by helping these financial advisors get off their bums and actually do it and actually take action to, to make that happen.
Yeah.
So I can't let that. I've got a value, a mission attached to my business. It's not like, right, who wants a bit of social media then today?
Yeah.
I'm not selling social media. I'm not selling Canva templates. I'm not selling videography. I am here to change the narrative
Yeah.
for our society, to make us all understand money better, because we don't.
Yeah.
So that's the mission behind the consistency. And if you don't do it, who else is going to do it for you?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Yeah.
No one else.
Yeah. So working with some of these financial advisors or these finance professionals, what's been the biggest challenge? Because, like I said, it's not the most, I suppose, exciting of industries, and there's an assumption that all finance people are, very not stuck up, but of a certain mentality, are very stuck in their ways. Probably
Yes,
the best way of
yeah.
doing it. So, what have been your sort of main challenges?
So the biggest challenge has been getting them to think creatively rather than analytically, right? So they're very analytical, they're very factual based. Obviously they like numbers, but I've had to help them understand how to tell a story behind the numbers. So it's really more about the customer as the hero. Like, how are you helping people diversify their portfolios so that they can build a lifestyle of their dreams, care for their family, go off to Spain and live and retire there.
Yeah.
Another mission-based business could be, how are you helping first-time buyers gain that independence and control of their lives rather than being stuck in the rental world or being stuck at mum and dad's, right? So it's more about tapping into the stories rather than, hey, we do mortgages.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you know there's 100% mortgages out now, right? So that's just a factual base. And again, a motto that I live by, that I teach, is facts tell, stories sell.
Yeah.
So it's more about the stories that's been challenging. And also getting them in front of the camera.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with, the camera confidence, what to say, how to say it.
Yeah.
Some people give it a go and they're like, hey, just wanted to jump on here real quick. And you're like, hey, no, we don't do that. Like, this is how we should do. So as long as someone's willing, like, that's all I need. If someone's like, look, Ros, I have no idea what to do. I'm really nervous. I'm absolutely like rubbish at this. That's great. We can work with that as long as you're willing to step outside your comfort zone. So that's been the challenge.
Yeah.
And then finally, number 3 is playing the long game. I think people want results. They see other people do it. They're like, oh, well, you've built a business in 3 years on social media. What can you do for me? What you? I'm like,
in 3 months.
In 3 months, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
brilliant. Like, it doesn't just rub off on you just because I can do it. You've not been there with me for 10 years. You think I've only been doing this for 3 years because Manuka Media was formed 3 years ago on Company's House. But I've been doing this for 10.
Yep.
Yeah? You didn't see me when I was rubbish. You didn't see me when everyone else was laughing. You didn't see me when I didn't get 0 views, 0 likes. Or actually when I was trolled. You didn't see that.
Yeah.
But you're wanting what I portray today because you think that by paying for my services, you're going to do it faster than I can. I'm like, you might do it faster than I can, but
it still won't be overnight, though.
It won't be overnight.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely
that's
won't.
where you have to set realistic expectations with your customers when it comes to getting results, right? Because you can't guarantee results when it comes to marketing and social media. You can't guarantee you're going to get X amount of leads or X amount of followers. Being realistic. So.
Exactly. I just don't take it any further. I don't end up engaging with that firm in the end. So if they say to me, okay, Ros, if we do 20 videos, realistically, how much can I expect out of that? I'm like, I don't think we should start.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your mindset,
that's the wrong question.
That's the wrong question. Yes. Exactly. Like, I'm actually asking them the questions now. And the other day, someone cancelled their proposal follow-up because I was interviewing them about whether I should work with them or not. And I'm like, okay, I've been in this business for 3 years. There's been a lot of people that have paid me money and then vanished and done nothing with it. Who wins? I've still got the money in my bank account. They've done nothing with it. No one wins.
Yeah, no one really wins.
No one wins.
Yeah.
It's so dissatisfying. So I'm now looking for when I'm interviewing someone that's made an inquiry with me, I'm like, how long are you going to stick around? What's your long game? What are you bringing to society? What is your vision for social? Like, how do you want to be represented on social media? And they're like, oh, what? Don't you just want my money? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's not about your budget anymore. It's about, if I'm going to represent you, I need to know I'm representing. Firstly, my first question is, for example, a mortgage broker. Would I get them to do my mortgage? If the answer is no, I'm not putting them out there on social media.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Because because if I put out this mortgage broker on social media who I wouldn't even trust or use, what if they find you? That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Because if you use them because of my social media, like putting them out there, then that's on me. So I have a social responsibility as well to ensure that the people I advocate for and put out there and raise awareness around are the people that are legit, that people I would actually use myself. Same as a builder, if a builder or a solicitor came along and said, oh yeah, could you get us big on social media? I'd be like, well, can I see some client testimonials? Who are you? Like, why would I get you? Why would I get you to be big?
You wouldn't want to be promoting a rogue builder that's done.
Exactly. That would be on me. So it's what are you bringing to the table? That's the question.
I like that. So you're a bit of an expert in finance, then it seems. But let's put your.
I can't give financial advice.
Your knowledge
just for the record.
To test when it comes to brands.
Oh, this is the game.
Brand knowledge. So we've got a little game here to test your knowledge when it comes to brands.
Go on, then.
We spoke about earlier about logos. Brand is more than a logo, but everyone resonates with a logo. Everyone knows what a logo is. So I've got a few logos here. I want to see if you recognise them. So.
PayPal. I'm really nervous. It's such a light-hearted game.
It is.
HSBC. NatWest.
Oh, you are good.
Lloyd's. L&G.
Full name?
Legal and General Mortgage Club or whichever. Barclays.
I can't remember that one myself now.
Let's see. Oh, Aviva.
Oh, yeah, Aviva. Aviva. Yeah.
I hope you guys are listening out there. I know your brands. Oh, Western Union. Santander.
What was that one?
That's such a good. Oh, I know it. I can see it for RBS.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I can see it for your
I probably should have done this on card. It would have been a lot easier.
Oh, MasterCard. Can the people see this? Play this game at home. Alliance.
I wonder if you'll get this one. This is a rogue one.
Oh, that is rogue. What's that?
Nasdaq.
No. Oh no, I didn't recognise that one. I'm glad that there was one that I didn't recognise. No, okay, I know this one. Oh my god, the word is at the tip of my tongue. No, I can't think of the name. No, you go on.
PNP.
Oh yes,
Paribas,
yeah. I know that logo. That is such a good game.
Those are some finance ones. If we've got time, we'll do.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
A few more other brand ones.
I play something like this very similar to some webinars. In some webinars that I do to see like if people reckon, and I play it with like people and a logo and see which one people recognise first.
I like that. Yeah. Well, I played a game. It was a few years ago at Christmas. Ironically, it was a family game. It was a board game. Never heard of it in my life, and it was just.
Really? What's it called? I'm gonna have to get that for Christmas.
I can't remember now. I can't remember what it was called. I'll find it.
Okay.
I'll let you know. But one of the games in there was around logos, basically. So yeah, that's.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
I can't claim this is my idea. So.
Spotify. I can't even say it. Airbnb. WWF.
Yep. You're definitely gonna get this one.
Nike.
Probably one of the most famous brands.
Yes. Yeah. Starbucks.
God.
Mercedes. McDonald's. Chanel. Oh, Booking.com. I love this. Yes. Oh my gosh. I know this logo. I know it.
Do you want a clue?
Is it Ralph Lauren? No.
No. You're on the right track. There's clothing.
Oh my gosh. It's not Ralph. No, it's not. I can't think of it. No.
No.
No. Go on. Tell me.
Burberry.
Of course it is. Shell. Apple. Nespresso. Again, Nespresso, George Clooney. See? Like Nespresso have hired George Clooney as the brand. Starbucks, Molly May. Like I can associate celebrities to these logos because they've got the face of it. Ferrari.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Had to get that in there.
KFC.
And final one.
Tesla.
There we go.
Yeah, I love this game. Thank you for playing that.
Fun. But yeah, no, it's been an absolute
I've loved
pleasure.
it. Thank you.
Rosalia, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Any final words for our listeners out there when it comes to brand building and
based on that, so based on that exercise, just think about like these are huge, gigantic companies, and even they were once not known, like Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Take inspiration from like these shed-based businesses that started out in their back bedroom or started out by accident, and they've also had to build from nowhere. And also just play the long game. Just think about this is a long strategy, it's a long game, it's about visibility. And the reason I recognize these logos is either because I'm an avid user of them or because I see them everywhere. Like I do not eat McDonald's, okay? But why do I know that brand? Because it is everywhere. So yeah, exactly. And even though I don't like it, I don't eat it, but I know the jingle, I know where they are. I can literally drive you to the nearest one in my house and I don't even go. So yeah, just think about that visibility, like and just attracting the right audience that is for you, and just don't play anything other than yourself. Like you are who you are, stay in that lane. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And all of that to say, I suppose, not sure when this will go out, but have a nice Christmas.
Thank you, and you, and Happy New Year if we don't speak, let's make 2024 amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you. The game